We have some major breaking news, and this is a story that deserves a lot of attention. We have some leaked videos coming out of one of ICE's New York City confinement centers, but it's not just local to New York City. This is happening across the country, not to mention the new Alligator Alcatraz facility in Florida that we'll be talking about in just a minute. But we have new footage that shows people sleeping on the floor next to toilets in a facility that an agency says is not a detention site. Two new videos have surfaced shedding light on what is happening behind closed doors at a New York federal building where people are being confined after being seized by officers on their way to immigration court or out of immigration court on the 12th floor. It is absolutely insane. Not only are people who are following the proper processes being snagged and placed with these terrible conditions, but on top of that, the admin has been reallocating funds meant for criminals, meant for people who are undocumented and have committed a slew of crimes, to people who are just following the processes, which means the Trump admin said they were going to get into office and make the country safer. They were going to get into office and get criminals out of here, which nobody should be against. If somebody has committed a slew of crimes and driven and then beat somebody up and then shot a gun or whatever, then of course, and they're here illegally, sure, you can deport them, just make sure they have due process. But what the Trump admin is doing is intentionally blurring the lines between the millions and millions of people who just want to come here for a better life, to work, to follow the laws, versus the small, very small minority of people who commit crimes. I mean, the baseline facts say that people who come here undocumented or illegally commit crimes at a lower rate than native-born citizens. So once you work with that framework, you can say, sure, if you're going to come here and not follow the laws, you can leave. But when the Trump admin takes the money meant to deport criminals and then reallocates that directly towards people who just want to work on farms, people who want to have a better life, that is what every American should be against. And that's why Trump's approval rating is tanking on immigration. Let's start off with this clip. It reads, breaking. New video shows ICE is operating a detention facility on the 10th floor of 26 Federal Plaza, where people are being held for days or weeks at a time without showers, medication, or a change of clothes, sleeping on the floor and with minimal food and outside contact. And if these are the conditions here, just imagine the conditions in Alligator Alcatraz, which we'll talk about in 1 second. We've heard that people are forced to eat food on the floor like dogs. It's absolutely despicable. A quick trigger warning for this video. You don't really see anything too terrible or violent or graphic, but it's just upsetting overall. I'm going to play it now.
No, mira. Aquí en el baño, un beta, el chingo maricamos. El sueño americano. Migración, 26 Federal Plaza. ¿Cómo nos tienen de la situación como estamos nosotros, como perros acá? Para Ecuador.
Okay, just to report a little bit more thoroughly, I just wanted to play that video, but as it says on screen, ICE has previously stated that this is not even a detention center, denying claims of overcrowding and inhumane conditions. They were denying the idea this was even a detention center in the first place, meaning they were secretly detaining people, keeping them on the ground with toilets right next to them. He says in the video, they have us here like we're dogs at 26 Federal Plaza. And then it says people are being detained for weeks at a time, sleeping on the floor, no showers, no change of clothes, minimal food, minimal outside contact. And the worst part is there are more videos to go along with this, but I really quickly just want to point out that detainees being held at Alligator Alcatraz are describing cage-like units swarmed by mosquitoes. People call this Alligator Auschwitz, and I don't think that's too far off. I made a video 2 weeks ago about how Stephen Miller, Donald Trump's deputy chief of staff, has been talking about torture since he was 18 years old in high school. This dude is the mastermind, if you want to call it that, even though he's quite dumb. This is the person spearheading Donald Trump's immigration policy, and he's openly advocating for torturous policies. Right here we see detainees being held at Alligator Alcatraz, describing this as torturous. Legal advocates and relatives of immigrant detainees held in Florida's notorious Alligator Alcatraz are demanding the closure of the state-run facility. Detainees there, a new facility in the Everglades, describe what they called as torturous conditions in cage-like units full of mosquitoes where fluorescent bright lights shine at all times. There are unsanitary conditions. It says lack of food, lack of reliable medical treatment for chronic conditions. And just to go back to this New York detainment facility really quickly, the interesting thing is Representative Velasquez from New York tried to visit 26 Federal Plaza just a week ago. It said they are detaining immigrant New Yorkers in reportedly horrific conditions and dare to deny they are a detention facility. At DHS Gov, stop with the semantics and follow the law. Let's check this.
We attempted to go into the 10th floor. We were told that they were short of staff and that this is a processing facility, not a detention facility. Here I have a list of people that have been detained. Their families and lawyers are telling us that they are still here more than one day.
So people are being detained. They're telling their relatives and their lawyers, hey, we're being detained. We're just being disappeared, basically. And then ICE continued to deny that this is even happening until these videos began to leak. Then, just today, Representative Velasquez says leaked footage confirms what we've known all along. 26 Federal Plaza is a secret detention site where immigrants are being held in overcrowded, inhumane conditions. DHS Gov has spent months lying to cover it up. We need answers. We need to demand accountability. We will continue to cover this on this channel relentlessly, just like we do with the Epstein files, or the lack thereof, because the Trump admin covered it up. But here's the bottom line. Americans thought that Donald Trump, for some reason, was going to have an immigration policy that made them more safe. I mean, I don't know why they thought that. Donald Trump did gaslight and make a lot of false promises on the campaign trail, but that's what people thought. Now that he's in office, the way he's acting, the reality is far different than what the median voter thought. Now, counterpoint, they did hold up mass deportation signs at the RNC like a year ago. So we knew that it was going to be aggressive, reckless, and authoritarian. We knew, but I guess not every voter knew that. So people thought that the immigration policy was going to make them safer. Yet it makes us more dangerous. When Donald Trump takes money that is supposed to go towards deporting people who are here and are committing crimes and who are dangerous and are here illegally, and then he takes that money and puts it towards deporting farm workers, that not only makes the cost of living higher, disincentivizes people from coming over, but it just makes the United States a pariah. We are now a country where tourism has dropped. Immigration has dropped to almost zero, and the Trump admin likes to flaunt that, but you know what other country has zero immigration? Is North Korea. It's not a good thing when people who come here and usually become doctors and lawyers no longer want to come here because it's not a country with the American dream. I mean, in this video, he even says the American dream, and he's saying it sarcastically because it's just sickening, but I'm going to leave it there. If you made it this far in the video, make sure you subscribe to the Adam Mockler feed. We will continue to push the truth at a time when it feels like the landscape is being carpet bombed with lie after lie after lie. I appreciate all of you. I couldn't do this without you. And see you in the next one. Peace out.